in
Light up your night with the Kevin Smith Show. Hi, this is Kevin Smith. Join me Monday through Friday right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
Hey! Hi there. Got your attention? I'm Gia Scott, and I was curious what you were doing from 7 to 9 p.m. Sunday.
If you are listening to the show and wish to join us in the chat room, visit paltalk.com. Go to the social issues, select Other, and enter the UFO Paranormal Radio Network.
Breaking news. Strange black pyramid UFO ships over every major city on the Earth. People are exhilarated and scared. Reptilian strange creatures are beaming down. My God, they're beaming me up with them. Don't put that probe there. Don't put that probe there. Don't put Listen to the Judge of Mabus radio show at 11 p.m. Eastern, Saturday nights with host Jeffrey Pritchett, bringing you the high strange. Visit www.judgeofmabusradio.com. That's www.judgeofmabusradio.com.
Welcome to the Mind Cemetery. This is where the paranoia about the paranormal comes to rest. As always, we will do our best every week to delve into the unexplained, weird, intriguing, and sometimes creepy topics you won't hear on your local news. I'm your host, Chip, and along with me is my co-host, Nicole. You can catch the Mind Cemetery every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern for 2 hours exclusively here on the UFO Paranormal Radio Network. If you like what you hear, then subscribe to us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter by searching Mind Cemetery. You can also find us on iTunes by searching UFO Paranormal Radio Network, listen to our archives on the UFO Paranormal Radio Network main page, and go deeper into the archives by searching for the Mind Cemetery on blogtalkradio.com. You can find us online at mindcemetery.com. While on our site, you will find our show calendar to see who we will have on as a guest in the near future. Check out the strange news feed, peruse our extensive archive of past shows in our archive blogs, track UFO activity via the Alien Stalker, and as always, be sure to check out the critically acclaimed, often imitated but never duplicated mindcemetery.com blog, where you can get information on upcoming shows and on past shows and plenty of interesting nuggets and tidbits that are blogged about throughout the week. You can join the discussion in the UFO Paranormal Radio Network chat room on Pal Talk, or call in to ask your favorite hosts and guests your own questions on our show hotline. That number is 504-273-7379.
Hello everyone, Trish Sheridan, host of A Global Focus. Come join us each Friday evening at A Global Focus's new time, 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern. Come join the discussion.
Tune in to UFO Undercover, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
You are listening to UPRN 107.9 New Orleans.
Hi everybody, this is Erica Getch. I hope to see you on Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific on the Galactic Connection, keeping you connected 1 hour at a time. For more information, please visit thegalacticconnection.com.
Light up your night with the Kevin Smith Show. Hi, this is Kevin Smith. Join me Monday through Friday right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
Hey! Hi there. Got your attention? I'm Gia Scott, and I was curious what you were doing from 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time on Tuesdays. See, I host this really interesting little radio program that airs live then, and we bring in all sorts of guests. Authors, experiencers, and everything in between. It's paranormal and guaranteed to make you go, My guest list is always up at www.giascott.com, and do tune in to the Dawn of Shades from 7 to 9 p.m. on Tuesdays.
Breaking news. Strange black pyramid UFO ships over every major city on the Earth. People are exhilarated and scared. Reptilian strange creatures are beaming down. My God, they're beaming me up with them. Don't put that probe there. Don't put that probe there. Don't put the... Ooh. Listen to the Church of Mabus Radio, 11 p.m. Eastern, Saturday nights with host Jeffrey Pritchett, bringing you the high strange. Visit www.churchofmabusradio.com. That's www.churchofmabusradio.com.
Those fingers in my hair, that sly come hither stare, that strips my conscience bare, it's witchcraft.
Hello everybody, I'm psychic medium Christopher George, and along with my co-host, Victor the Voice Furman, we are Second Sight NYC Radio.
Chris, I'm going to be traveling next week, so I won't be with you. Who's going to be your special guest next week?
Oh, my special guest is going to be the great psychic Joyce Teller. I know Joyce for many, many years, and she is never short on things to say. She's a fantastic guest, she's a fantastic woman, and she's going to dish the dirt on stars all over the world. Trust me on this, it's going to be a great show.
I'm looking forward to listening to the archive. Have a great show, Chris, and everyone, have a great week.
An ancient pitch, but one that I'd never switch, 'cause there's no nicer witch than you.
Tune in to the Mind Cemetery with your hosts Chip and Nicole every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Exclusively on the UFO Paranormal Radio Network. We delve UFOs, abductions, ghosts, aliens, conspiracies, and cryptozoology.
And how could you ever forget about those creepy topics you won't hear on your local news?
This is where I would insert my obligatory skeptical statement. The Mind Cemetery, where the paranoia about the paranormal comes to rest.
Follow us on Twitter and subscribe to us on Facebook. Also, check us out on our website, mindcemetery.com, for show updates and the critically acclaimed Mind Cemetery blog.
It's not critically acclaimed, but you should check it out anyway, mindcemetery.com.
Hi, everybody. This is Erica Getch. I hope to see you on Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific on the Galactic Connection, keeping you connected 1 hour at a time. For more information, please visit thegalacticconnection.com.
You are listening to UPRN 107.9 New Orleans.
Tune in to UFO Undercover, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Benetti, and along with Joe Montaldo, we co-host a new show called News on the Flip Side. You can catch us every Saturday p.m. Central, where we will be discussing current events and topics going on in the world today. We have opinions on everything. There's no topic that we won't discuss, and we'll go places that other shows wouldn't dare. False history gets made all day, every day. The truth of the new is never on the news, but you can catch it here, News on the Flip Side, only on the UFO Paranormal Radio Network.
Welcome to the Mind Cemetery. This is where the paranoia about the paranormal comes to rest. As always, we will do our best every week to delve into the unexplained, weird, intriguing, and sometimes creepy topics you won't hear on your local news. I'm your host, Chip, and along with me is my co-host, Nicole. You can catch The Mind Cemetery every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern for 2 hours exclusively here on the UFO Paranormal Radio Network. If you like what you hear, then subscribe to us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter by searching Mind Cemetery. You can also find us on iTunes by searching UFO Paranormal Radio Network, listen to our archives on the UFO Paranormal Radio Network main page, and go deeper into the archives by searching for The Mind Cemetery on blogtalkradio.com. You can find us online at mindcemetery.com. While on our site, you will find our show calendar to see who we will have on as a guest in the near future. Check out the strange news feed, peruse our extensive archive of past shows in our archive blogs, track UFO activity via the Alien Stalker, and as always, be sure to check out the critically acclaimed, often imitated but never duplicated mindcemetery.com blog, where you can get information on upcoming shows, information on past shows, and plenty of interesting nuggets and tidbits that are blogged about throughout the week. You can join the discussion in the UFO Paranormal Radio Network chat room on Pal Talk, or call in to ask your favorite hosts and guests your own questions on our show hotline. That number is 504-273-7379.
For joining us live this week. I know. It's like, what the hell is going on? We did something right this time. Kind of. Sort of. The guest had to cancel at the last minute due to illness. I'm pretty sure it's the norovirus. It's hell. It hit us about 2 weeks ago and wiped out about 7 people for 4 days, rotating around on who gets to have some gastrointestinal issues, I guess they call it on the news. In other words, poop your pants. Yeah, it's that kind of show, I guess, where we say poop and pants. Poop pants around here with a 1-month-old baby, so things happen. And, yeah, she's doing fine because she also caught noro, and we had to go to the hospital with her, do IVs, all that kind of good stuff. So everybody's well, and it's later on. And last week, I don't remember what happened. I really don't know off the top of my head. Today's been kind of crazy, as is every Monday, I'm assuming, for most of you folks out there in listener land. And if you're a Twitter follower, I would call you a tweeple. My tweeps, if you're following us on Twitter. And if I were you, I'd follow us on Twitter, because I put some world-class tweets out there, you know. Mostly badgering Lauren Coleman is what I use the Twitter account for. And kind of badgering some other people that I think are just world-class rectums that are busy, you know, living off the cult of personality thing. But whatever. It's their bag, it's their thing they do, and, you know, you gotta be entertained somehow, right? So, whatever. Just, you know, sometimes I will tell you not to listen to them, because you shouldn't, because they're purely just trying to scam you, because some of them will be asking you for money. And then on the other hand, I think to myself, why should I deny you some great fantasy time? By all means, listen to them. Just, you know, don't fall in too deep to it. But it is fun. I'll give you that. So, this week, there is no guest. It's just me and my witty banter to hold us over for 2 hours. We were going to have on Oldest City Paranormal Investigators. They are a very busy group out of Northeast Florida. With any luck, maybe we can get them to go over to Jeff Pritchett's house to investigate his house and the shaman in the area that are attracting Bigfoot eating his pets. But that's not a laughing matter. PETA will be all over me. I'm going with the theory of the cat finally had enough of Jeff. I'm tired of this. Open the door. I'm out this piece. We're in Florida. I don't have to stay inside. But Oldest City Paranormal. I have the latest blog up there on the Mind Cemetery, which is quite possibly one of the better blogs you'll ever read in your life. So, do your favor and go over to mindcemetery.com and click on it and read about the guest that was going to be on tonight that we have to reschedule for May, because we are booked solid through March and April, and we're out to May, and we're almost a real show, and, in case life, doesn't jack us up some more, which I'm sure it will, because that's what it does. Oh, I had to reschedule Don Walton, which was good because he was in the middle of, that's who it was last week. We had to reschedule Don because, which is great because when we called him, he was like, well, I'm in the middle of moving. I bought a new place. And I was like, yeah, I saw that on Facebook. So, it works out well for everybody. While you're clearing your throat, never hurt anybody, right? Except for the listeners. So, say hello to everybody in the UFO Paranormal Work chat room here on Pal Talk. If you're not on it, I don't know why you wouldn't be. If you're listening to the show right now, you get to talk to other listeners, and you get to try to send me messages and mess me up while I'm on the air talking. Or at least on the internet, right? No, we're on the air. That's right. Out of New Orleans. That's New Orleans, in case you were wondering. Which you were. So hello, everybody in the chat room. Stephanie, Raven. Raven was talking some mad words to me earlier. I didn't understand. I'm going to have to go to the Urban Dictionary later, which is my favorite thing. So, if you ever get, a text with some abbreviations or anything, just go to Urban Dictionary and figure it out quickly so you don't look like a fool. Then you can text back LOL and further degrade and erode communication with the human race. But hello, Instant Karma, Cop, as usual. Thank you for being here. A couple newbies out there, too. Juan in a million. Wild Green. I don't know if he's related to Wild Blue. Your Lord, thank you. And we got a lot of people that come by our Facebook page, amazingly, right? Richard Griffiths is a new one that's come around. Amy Hubler loves a lot of do. Thanks for loving a lot of stuff we do. A lot of people do it. Stratocaster loves a lot of stuff we do. Phil Mancuso, all very good friends of the show. Mel Trinder, sorry. I got to learn to read English as well as speak it someday. Maybe not tonight. Oh, well, more than maybe not tonight. 100% not tonight. Not going to happen. Scott Bushy, by the way, who posts some great pictures of food on his Facebook page. Amazing. Gabe, awesome. All great contributors, okay? And I think one of my favorite pictures I posted recently on our website, or on our Facebook page, our website. I wouldn't put 90% of what we put on the Facebook page on the website. Some of it I do. But it's much easier on Facebook. Of course, right? It's a picture of Jimbo from The Simpsons holding a sign that says, "Alien dude, need 2 tickets to Pearl Jam." And I'll tell you why that's relevant. I'm going to see Pearl Jam in July at Wrigley Field. So I will be the bald guy with the Ball State sweatband, and if I'm lucky, an old red sleeveless Broadway soft wash shirt. And only people from my hometown in beautiful Chesterton, Indiana, know that place. It was pretty epic to work there and do nefarious things there to people and strangers. It is Grammar Day, International Grammar Day. I'm killing it then. Destroying international grammar. And National Grammar. 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm good like that. Sun. See, if you add sun at the end of it, it's a whole lot cooler. Evidently. It's a nice picture that I seen Nicole put up there. My first cavity search as a kid getting searched by the Homeland Security people. How pleasant. Nicole's like, what did I do? Nothing. You're in the other room. Remember, you don't care. You're busy taking care of our child, not doing a radio show. Like you should be, woman. And I just lost all our women listeners. All 5 of them. From Sheboygan and Sandusky. And my favorite, the Muncie. Jules and Gray. How you doing, Jules? Thanks for joining us in the chat room. It's one of those days where I talk about you, folks, the listener. Oh, speaking of the listener, call in and say some stuff, whatever you want. Ask me questions, and I will give you answers to all of your life's problems. Just deposit 5 cents in the cup. 504-273-7379. That's the phone number. I'm going to try to say it real fast so you can't really write it down. And it'll mess you up.
My name is Paul
So
Croker.
504-273-7379.
Please call me back at area code.
And call it repeatedly and bother Joe back at the mothership. Quite literally the mothership, I think. I love calling it that. The Southern Command. Southern Command or the mothership. You take your pick. I'm mixing them up. Interchanging them. I'm flexible. Sort of. Trying not to pull a hamstring
Joe
over here.
Montaldo, this is Dr. Randy Bell. I was
That's
trying to
not
get
good
a
for
hold of
anybody.
Jason Wilson. I did leave an email the other day,
So I don't
and
know.
I
He'll
was
just put you
wondering
through
how
if
to
you
get a
call
hold
in.
of him.
504-273-7379. I got some things to talk about. We can talk about Oldest City Paranormal real quick. They have an email address, believe it or not. It is oldestcityparanormal@gmail.com. I wasn't lying. I'm having trouble reading the English language. If you're in the area of Northeast Florida, I would go hit them up. They do a lot of stuff in Charleston, which is crazy because I just had a friend here locally in North Carolina, beautiful Raleigh, North Carolina, which is very chilly this time of year for some god-awful reason. That's why I moved down here. Well, that and to beat seasonal depression. Yeah, I feel bad for everybody in the north of the Mason-Dixon line. I don't know where that line is, by the way. I don't know where that line is, geographically speaking, or literally speaking. But I know it's north of here. Maybe it's like the border of North Carolina and Virginia. Who knows? Somebody tell me. Somebody give me answers. If you call in, you can educate me geographically. But, oh. That's pretty far north. Actually. Wow. The South is really big, evidently. See, when we were in Indiana, in northwest Indiana, it's also known as, and I'm putting up the rabbit ears right now, as we call it, as us cool kids call it. We used to say that anything south of US 30 was deliverance country. And it was pretty much true. It was like an entire different state down there. There's the region and then the rest of Indiana. That is including Indianapolis. I never really understood Indiana for the most part because there was like a lot of like rednecks, I guess you can call them, because they're not like hillbillies. Yeah, they're like rednecks. Imagine that. There's a lot of cornfields there, you know, a lot of pick-em-up trucks. I like calling them pick-em-up trucks. by the way, which I personally love pick-em-up trucks and would love to get one, or a Hummer, either way. You know, either one works for me as long as I'm burning fossil fuels at an extraordinary rate. I'm fine. Let's just speed this whole process up as much as possible, right? If there is going to be an alien intervention, just get it over with. Anytime soon. That's if all of our world leaders don't shapeshift from their human form to their reptilian form. With their crazy eyes. But anyway. What do you want to talk about? Oh, right. Oldest City Paranormal, we have not rescheduled yet for May, but I told them pick any Monday and it's yours, and you can have it. Sold. Sort of American. It's part Chinese now. It's cheaper. Which I love China. I welcome our Chinese overlords. It's like Kent Brockman on The Simpsons when they're getting invaded by ants. I think that was like a that's a good question. Yeah, well, they were getting like invaded by ants, and Kent Brockman pledges his allegiance to the ants invading them. But I got a good question in the lobby, and I am going to Google it from Straticus. I think that's Stratocaster. I'm going to have to... Oop, I tabbed out like a dope. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I popped real good there, didn't I, after I said dope. Matthew and Tom Reed case. Let me... You hear that clicking? That's when I said, let me... And then I was typing. Oh, 1969. Family abduction, UFO casebook. I do enjoy UFO casebook, actually. Oh, I see an advertisement for Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I think I'm going to go there. Should I click it? Or, no. I got a show to do. Supposedly, in theory. But before I get into this, before I read this, actually, for the first time live, and we know how well I do reading and stuff, I've been on the network a few times. Where have I been? I'll tell you where I've been. Being run ragged. So, basically, thank God I lost some weight, and now I must felt large animal. I can keep up with these kids that are killing me slowly. A slow death. It's a slow burn. As Alex Jones would call it. I had to think of his name. I was going to call him Alan Jones. I was going to call him Alan Parsons for a minute. I don't think that's right either. Drinking water on air. Or old style, I think. Oh, we got a caller. Heads up. It's going to get nuts. Hello? Maybe not. Speaking of callers, our phone number is 504-273-7379. Take this rudderless ship wherever you want to go. It doesn't matter to me. Round and round we go. It's a lot of witty banter, and that's about it. Because we canceled at the last minute. So I'll get to the nuts and bolts of what I was telling Joe before we started. Nuts and bolts, he says. There's really nothing technical about what I'm about to say. Let me look them up real quick. This radio show is called... Now, I've had this guy on a couple times. The radio show is called Strange Frequencies Radio, and they are at strangefrequenciesradio.net. Bobby Nelson hosts it. He's been on our show a few times. He's really good. I like him. He's fun. He's smart, and he is not a jerk. And I say that because everybody thinks a skeptic's a jerk, but he's skeptical and of a lot of things, and so you should be, right? We're not getting a whole lot of concrete evidence here thrown at us. So some funny pics on there. His last one was going squatching, and he has a couple like Indiana Jones type hats on. And I'm like, yep, that'll do it. You're good. So it's, there's, believe it or not, there are some things I will not buy into until, I don't know, the DNA study, it still needs to be hashed out, and we'll get to that because, of course, that was eaten up pretty good. But I feel, in my professional opinion, that's right, he's a professional, folks. Strange Frequencies Radio would be great for the network. They record on Saturdays, and they've been doing it for a while. He also does the Bent Spoon online magazine. Check it out, Bobby Nelson. There is Saturdays at 3 p.m. Strange Frequencies Radio is at strangefrequenciesradio.net. Eastern. Everything's going to be Eastern, okay, because I'm on the East Coast. I'm not going to sit and play the Central game like they do at the mothership and try to confuse you. And I blame them. There should be like a world clock. A station clock, but it's going to be Central because it's in New Orleans. So I won't win. I won't win either way. But me and Jeff can bitch, and we do that very well. But yeah, he's got a link there to the Ben Spoon magazine. So if you're listening to us, check out Strange Frequencies Radio. They do the podcast. They're on live stream. They're good. They do good things with peoples and stuff. Their next guest is John Resnikoff. To be honest, as soon as I saw this picture, I thought, what's Shooter McGavin doing on Strange Frequencies? Shooter McGavin from, shoot, I can't think because I was clicking around like an idiot. But what is that movie with Adam Sandler? Oh, Happy Gilmore. What a moron, Too many malted hops and bong resin in my ears. It's not Shooter McGavin was the character's name, and he was just a jerk. He was just a jerk in there, and he was like Happy's nemesis, in the movie about golf. So if you haven't seen Happy Gilmore, do yourself a favor. But this guy, their next guest kind of looks like it. It was like the first thing I thought. So, but evidently he collects celebrity hair. So, different, at least, right? I wonder how he even get it. Do you think you could just mail people and get pieces of hair if you ask them nicely? So, I don't know. But yeah, Strange Frequencies Radio, they're out there on Facebook and on the internet. Google it, and Google Bobby Nelson plus Skeptic, and I'm sure it'll work. So, that's my contribution to the network for a new show. And it's something that I don't think we have on the network. I don't know if I can say we. I think I can. Because I've got a pet peeve against people that say we in the sports world. Because I'm also a raging idiot when it comes to sports. Instant Karma. If anyone wants to get a hold of Instant Karma and get some hair from him, I'm assuming him, he says he'll be more than happy to mail you a handful of pubes. So, go ahead and drop that in the mail. Self-addressed stamped envelope, of course. Care of the network. Go ahead and send that to Joe, and then Instant will send it to Joe. Make Joe be the middleman. He's a postmaster general now. Hopefully he won't open the letter and smell them or anything. Oh, that's horrible. Smelling random listener pubes. Nicole's got my baby pressed against, looking at me, judging me. Kira is judging me. Thanks. You're a month old. Thanks for giving the old man a break. I can't wait. Hilarious. So, yeah, Strange Frequencies Radio is my contribution to the human race, putting them up there. And I guess I'm going to have to vouch for them, right? Is that what they say in the world of organized crime? So we'll do that. I got no problem with that. So that's that. And evidently this past weekend, there was a big hoopla down at the Fort McDowell Resort and Casino, Fountain Hills, Arizona. Anyone know what I'm talking about out there? Because this is what's crazy about this. I think there's intentional media block out of stuff like this for some reason. I don't need parts. I need my parts. I like my parts, and hopefully people will like the show, because I hear that's a rule on the UFO Radio Network. You vouch for somebody, you lose parts if nobody likes them. So please like them. Could you just go click like on the Facebook page for them and do it for us too while you're here? Yes, I'm whoring ourselves out as usual. And follow us on Twitter. I say fun stuff every once in a while. I try to tweet at least a couple times a day. I don't bombard you. I've got 6,000 followers or something like that. Used to have a lot more, but, you say stupid things and, I think, Nicole, the social media guru, says that if you don't say things, you lose people, so I guess I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't, because all I have is stupid, I can go with nothing and lose people, or I can go with stupid and lose them slower. So I go with stupid. Play it safe. Stupid works. I'm busy playing to the lowest common denominator, I guess. Yes, it is a catch-22. Yes, you're going to have to go use the Urban Dictionary to find out what catch-22 means. I wonder if it's even in the Urban Dictionary. I might have to do it right now. Live on the air. But anyway, like I was saying, before I digressed, which is simple to do when you're scattered like I am, yours truly, quite frankly, your most favorite, yeah, your most favorite host on the network. Booyah. Take it to the face. And, live with it for the rest of your life. Straight up. Anyway, straight up, he says, Google that. No, Urban Dictionary, that one, yeah. So, that was a thing. So they had the 2013 International UFO Congress. Yes, and you know what? I wonder if anybody went that is listening right now. If you went to the International UFO Conference at Fort McDowell Resort and Casino, then give me a call. Call me and tell me you love me. No. Call me and tell me how the thing was. The thing. Yeah, it was a thing. That's for sure. 504-273-7379. Yes, and I am going to save it fast. And if you need the number and you're sitting at home listening, just go to the UFO Paranormal Radio Network homepage, which is the homestead.com page. Do it. No. I'm sick of it. Sick of you not going there and clicking stuff nefariously, repeatedly. Because, that's where you find out what shows are actually on the network. Imagine that. So the 2013 International UFO Congress is a big to-do, and it's put on by a big to-do. Who puts it on? Open Minds TV. That's right. Open Minds, right. See, this is what kills me about this, and maybe it's just because I've been sleeping and not listening to the, to the coast to coast and everything. Yeah, I've been following her on Twitter too. Karen Dolan being there with her husband Richard. Yes, same people, same individuals, but yeah, evidently they were there. Let's see, guy from Ben Hansen from Factor Faked. Let's see, who else was there? Micah Hanks. Micah Hanks is big right now. Micah Hanks is coming to the Mine Cemetery, by the way. What day is he coming? April 1st. April Fools, right? No, he is really coming here. He's talking about UFO singularity. So he will be joining us. David Hatcher Childress, Ancient Aliens, all that good stuff. He's too big to be on this show. By the way, I asked him like a year ago or so. Grant Cameron, love Grant Cameron. He's got a new book out too, I think. I just heard him doing interviews on Coast to Coast not too long ago. Him and Richard Dolan put out another book, or at least he put it out with Keyhole Publishing, I think, if I'm right. Close to right, hopefully. Richard Dolan was there. Let's see. Ben McGee, I don't know who he is. Paul Stonehill. Ooh, UFOs of Russia. Ugh. In Soviet Russia, UFO abducts you. Well, they do that here too. James Fox from UFO Hunters there. UFO filmmaker. Let's see. This is like a boys club, basically, so far. Bunch of dudes were here. Stan Freeman, of course. Dolores Cannon. There we go. Hypnotherapist. There we go. 50 years experience. Joe, do you know Dolores Cannon? Barbara Lamb. Here we go. This, yes, that is, actually, I'll bet you anything. That is, yes, our friend Bridget Nielsen was there at the UFO conference. Had a picture of that. That girl's everywhere, by the way. I'm seriously jealous. I put it on her page. I'm like, I'm totally jealous of your life of vacations, it seems like. So you're going to Hawaii and then Southwest and then the Northwest, and it's just awesome. So, it must be awesome. Things must be going well. The art must be selling. Good. Of her artwork. It's very good. She is on Facebook as well. You can look her up, Google. It's not the same one that was in Conan or screwing around with Flavor Flav. It's not that old bag. Nick Pope was there, of course. Nick Pope, I'm sorry. He's very respected in the community for some reason. Another cult of personality jerk. Just incredible. Incredible. I hate him so much. So this is the problem. Oh, there we go. John Greenwald Jr. I know there was talk having him on there, on the network here not too long ago. Dr. Roger Lear, he's busy removing things from people unnecessarily. But anyway, that's just one man's opinion. And hosted by Lee Spiegel. Yay! I wish George Knapp would host it. He's kind of no BS kind of guy. Well, that's probably why he's not hosting it. But his style sometimes gets on me, as being a weekend host on Coast to Coast, but, get over it. Jason McClellan, Maureen Ellsbury, a pretty big group. Yeah, I do like George Knapp. He gets some big names out there. And Skinwalker Ranch action there with our old boy. Our old boy, he says. I forget his name, actually, right now off the top of my head. I'm telling you. A lot of stuff. A lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of strings in the old duder's head. Big Lebowski reference. I highly suggest you watch The Big Lebowski and Billy Madison. And then we'll all be on the same page. But I'm going to have to check out that Matthew and Tom Reed story there, Stratocaster, and that looks interesting right there. And it's definitely something I'm going to have to read more fully off the air and do a little bit of, homework on that. I can't believe I haven't heard of that one before. Maybe I have. And I just don't remember it, because there's so many of them that kind of mesh together, you all know what I mean. It seems like, if you're not constantly pumping yourself with podcasts and everything and keeping up on everything, you kind of fall behind quickly. Kind of not listening to a lot of podcasts anymore, because I'm busy doing my thing. Screw everybody else, basically, in a nutshell. So, I wonder if anybody got really wasted at the UFO conference, because I know there's going to be one down in Sebring, Florida here coming soon. And that's basically where, I have an uncle and a cousin that live there in Florida. And I was telling Jeff Pritchett, I was like, hey, this thing's like in our backyard. Basically I was like, I'll drive down and pick you up and we can go. We'll just stay at my uncle's and then go to this conference and get drunk and stupid. Get a little table, say we're with UFO Paranormal Radio Network, and get it on, and do some live stuff. Nah, I don't know. It's all on the weekend, so we just have to record everything. Unless we could, you know what? If it's like let me see if I can look it up real quick. Silence. UFO conference. Sebring. There it is. You just type Sebring, Florida UFO conference. StarWorksUSA.com. Here's me plugging stuff that probably hates me. But anyway, no. This is a good lineup. Oh, Karen Dolan's going to be there. Okay. Stan Romanek, that's Jeff's buddy. Greg Hammer will be there. Kathleen Marsden. Peter Robbins. I've, talked to him on the Rendlesham pages out there. So, not bad. Not a bad little group there. Paola Harris, if you're a fan of hers. Yvonne Smith. Oh! You like that moan like that? That was awfully odd. All exhibitor spots are officially closed. Damn it, so we missed out. See what you get for sitting around and waiting. Let's see, March 10th, I guess it is? Yeah. Or May 10th. 10, 11, 12. Okay, so there's 3 days. Let's see if they have a lineup just yet. Movie about the Betty and Barney Hill case. Q&A afterwards. Sapphire Starlight Social with symposium presenters Friday evening, May 10th. Now that's where you get jacked. Some of these people just get wasted and then fall on your face. Oh, dinner with the speakers on Saturday. Try the veal. Skywatch Saturday night while you're drunk. I mean, why not? I'm sure that would go over well. Jeff Pritchett and Chip Plesher wasted at the Skywatch. How dare they? The nerve. And then I'll tell him, let's just go look for Bigfoot. And that's where it goes bad. As if it wasn't going to go bad before. No, it should be a good time. I'm still considering going there because it's really not that much. I still got like a month to go and it's only $90. It's just a matter of driving there. I wonder if we can get like press passes. Joe, get me a press pass. Get 2 for me and Jeff. Put a call in, would you? You're big. Press pass. Something laminated with a lanyard, all access. But nice and official. Maybe put a UFO on it or a little green alien with a probe or like an ET finger. pointing at his nose, or at least the spot where his nose should be. So, yeah, there is that. The look to the stars. I've been down there to Sebring. It's not a great town. It's just south of Orlando there. It's not wonderful. It's nothing to write home about. But there are some good bars there. I did get pretty wasted with my cousin. Like, seriously. And for some reason we were in a Walmart, but, I mean, why not? When in Rome, right? You're in Florida, you might as well go to the Walmart drunk. So, I forget what we were getting. Oh, it was like donuts or something stupid. It was classic. I don't think I paid my tab either. I think I walked out. I was like, yep, not coming back here. Deuces. I blame it on the alcohol. I'm a very generous tipper. Just ask my wife when I come back. She gets very angry with me at my tabs. I say it's mostly tip. Classic. So, real quick, coming up here, next, on the 11th, I'm going to have a guy on by the name of Robert Lindsay who does a Bigfoot blog, which should be a good time, because it's a Bigfoot blog where people get raked over the coals. And you all know me and Bigfoot at this point. Me and Squatch don't get along. Oh, we got a caller in the queue. Caller, hello, how are you?
Hey, what's up?
Not much, what's up?
Oh, I just figured I'd call in, man.
Is this
that's me?
Yeah, I figured. I remembered. Nice. This is the man you'll be mailing to get pubes for, everyone.
Yeah, and, send a self-addressed stamped envelope, because what is it, like 45, 46 cents now?
Yeah.
I mean...
Get the forever stamp because it's going up.
Yeah, I mean, I'll send them out for free, but I ain't about to, pay for a stamp. You're on your own on that one. But,
yeah.
All right. Oh. And you mentioned George Knapp earlier. Yeah. I got a funny story about him. First UFO conference I ever went to. Went to the Crash Retrieval Conference in 2006 in Las Vegas. Yeah, that's when it was, I think. So I go out there. And this is the first conference that I do, and it's, one of the, it was like one of the big kind of expensive ones. I mean, my God, it would have cost, you had to buy a room at the, little casino and everything for like 3 days, and that's not very cheap. And then it's like, oh man, I want to say it was like at least $200 to attend the conference, something like that. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous in the first place, but, what the hell? I had the opportunity to go, so I went. George Knapp is up there introducing himself, and everybody's kind of like giving their little, ufology gospel spiel to everybody. George Knapp gets up there, and nobody in the crowd is expecting this, right? He, or was this at Roswell in 2006? I forget which one it was. But anyway, George Knapp is there. And he opens up, and he basically starts talking about a lot of the annoying personalities and inconsistencies and a bunch of the crap in ufology. And it was just kind of interesting to be sitting there in the field, because I was feeling him, man. I mean, everything you were saying was basically right on. I'll probably complain about some of that stuff more here in a minute. But, I mean, just watching the people in the crowd, it's like every 10th person, you could tell there was somebody that was feeling what George was saying.
Yeah.
But it's like just about everybody else, I mean, they got offended. They got hurt. They started turning their noses up like they smelled shit or something. Like he was accusing them of that, and I just kind of reveled in it,
It is, because it's like a lot of people, when it comes to this, these cults of personalities out there that these, superstars have developed around themselves in ufology are like well done and far-reaching, and it's like they've put their life work into this, and it's they're PR masters. It's not like in the paranormal field where you have high turnover. People do get out, because I don't think the paranormal aspect of anything has too many legs, you know what I mean? There's only so much you could do with a picture of a ghost or a video or audio tape. You know, it's like there's far less answers on that end of the spectrum than there is in ufology, you know. And when you start tearing down the sacred cows of ufology and exposing them for what they are, people get stupid because they've been programmed to love these individuals, you know. Stephen Greer, you know, Richard Hope, you know, these raging reckless out there that do nothing, waste your time or part money from your wallet as fast as they can, and then stare at you and basically kill evangelists, you know.
Oh, I know, man. It's like, well, I'm the North American director for ICAR, and you know, I work with a group that deals with abduction cases. And one of the things that always gets to me is, you know, they're like, oh, you're into aliens? Then you must believe in absolutely every damn thing. You know, what about the chemtrails? What about the HARP? What about the KGB fairies? I'm like, KGB fairies? What? I mean, just, you know, simply because I'm involved in one aspect of the paranormal, and I have a pretty rational mindset on a lot of this stuff. I mean, I don't believe everything, and, you know, basically a lot of my beliefs and what exists and what isn't is based on stuff that I've actually experienced. But, man, I mean, just being involved in this field, everybody expects you to be into absolutely everything. And, you know, I mean, I just get sick and tired of it because I talk to people that they've dealt with by aliens. You know, everybody, like, will point up and be like, oh, you see that? That's one of those chemtrails. I'm like, no, dude, that's an airliner, you know, with a little bit of vapor behind it. No, dude, they're spraying. I mean, it gets ridiculous. Everybody assumes that I'm supposed to believe everything. I mean, from Bigfoot to the Loch Ness Monster to, you know, like some of that, you know, Weber crap where Obama was on Mars in 1983 and the Stargate and all that stuff. I mean, yeah. My God, I mean, they really are perpetuating some kind, I mean, well, the audience in this field is a huge part of the problem because a lot of those people do believe everything. And unfortunately, that makes people that are involved in this field because they've had their own personal experiences all look like idiots, you know, to everybody. Like that, you know, I love Penn and Teller's bullshit. That's one of the greatest shows that's ever been put on cable television. And I talk to a lot of people, and they can't stand Penn and Teller because they did that alien abduction episode where everybody that they brought on there, you know, basically came off looking like an idiot. Yeah. Well, you know, the sad thing about it is, well, a lot of those people do kind of look like idiots.
Yeah, doing themselves a favor, you know. They're like, oh, you misrepresented them. No, it pretty much is the way it was, you know. And yeah, it's just classic, you know, story saying earlier. If you want to buy into that and like defend those individuals that perpetuate those, you know, great stories, then, you know, I don't know what to tell you, you know, because you're not all there and you're buying into Fantasy Time more than you are anything else, you know. There's nothing, and it's cool to go down that road and hear these awesome stories, but at the end of the 2 hours that you just got done listening to that podcast, you have to say, that was a thing, and now something different, you know.
Well, you know, another one of, like, you know, the paranormal stereotypes that always gets to me is, I'm sure you know what I mean here, too, is, you know, the Crusader. You know, they're Fox Mulder, and they've got to prove to the world and, like, blow the doors off of the deception and bring it all crashing down. Oh, man, some of those people, I mean...
You know what's impressive to me? Within the niche field itself of ufology and the paranormal, you know, which is, we're appealing to, like, the smallest crowd in the world, which is, you know, which is hard to explain to people when you start telling them, like, Coast to Coast has 6 million listeners, and it's like, yeah, well, you know, it's still a really niche market, you know. Go around your work or go around your friends and talk about this kind of thing and see how many people are receptive to it. You know, you're going to get, like, 5 that'll listen to you for 5 seconds, you know. I had one of my friends from work had another friend, and I talked to him about conspiracies and stuff every once in a while, and it's, you know, I know you're not even close to as informed. I don't even know if I would consider informed, but learned into these kind of things. I know he hasn't heard the podcast I have heard. I know he's not going to the websites I go to, but yet he's chiming in on this stuff. So it's like, whatever, it's somebody to have a conversation with, you know.
Well, you know, a lot of them do kind of come off with that, you know, that like sort of overbearing, I'm more enlightened and more intelligent than you could ever be peasant attitude to them, you know. But then you like start to probe the depths of this intelligence. It's like, okay, how does HARP work? It uses scalar technology, man. All right, what's scalar technology? You know, it's like scalar. You know, it involves a scale, and it's like, you know, show me some of the math behind this shit, and not a single damn one of them can.
Now is torsion physics. And Judy Wood is out there screaming torsion physics, bringing down the Twin Towers, and now. Tricky Dick Hoaxland is all over torsion physics when he tried.
Well, what took down the Twin Towers, dude? I mean, some people say it was a UFO. There's the infamous super nanothermite.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many different things that brought the scalar waves. You know, they directed a hard frequency at it. And you know, all the Jews got the gold out of the basement, right?
And the Norway spiral and all that stuff being a hologram, and it's like, I don't know what the hell that thing was any more than you do, you know? It's like, it was.
You know, but I mean, even though the conspiracy stuff, some of it is way out there, I mean, some of it is kind of fishy. Like, I mean, I'm still kind of scratching my head over, like, World Trade Center number 7. Oh, yeah. And I just thought it was funny the way that building came down, because, you know, I mean, to my, you know, layman's education, it looked like, you know, every other controlled demolition video I've ever seen.
Yep.
And then the NTSB and the, like, 9/11 Commission report and all those, like, important science people, they didn't even mention World Trade Center 7 until, like, 6 or 7 years after the fact. They released an addendum to it and said, oh, lightning struck twice because burning chunks of jet fuel fell down from the first 2 buildings onto this building and melted these 7 key structural points, and that's why it collapsed like that. And it's like, okay, you know, I can see you hitting the lottery once. I might even see you winning the lottery twice. But 3 times like that, that's kind of a stretch, bro.
Yeah. You're right. And you're exactly right about that. Every bit of everything that fell down looked like a controlled demolition, period. You know, I mean, or like it to go like a tree, you know, like just break in half and go the other way, you know, and it didn't happen. It just fell right down on itself, and that's fishy enough right there. But
you know, it takes me 20 minutes or so just like that to explain like any of my views to any of these people. So what do you think about 9/11? I'm like, I think that airliners did crash into the Twin Towers. Oh, you bought the lie. You're listening to the man. It's like, and then I'm like, but then I have to explain the World Trade Center 7 part, and then they don't quite hate me as much. You know, when you look at it like from that point of view, people on both sides end up hating you. So I guess if you're pissing everybody off, you're doing something right.
Being hated by people who you're not buying into their version of the story, you know? That's what I've learned, basically. If you buy one of these people's stories, then you're cool with them. And it's all a game of, I'm in your story, and I'm fine with you, just don't rag on me, and we can all get along. You know what I mean? We can all be at the same conference and prosper, you know, as long as we don't puff at each other. Because you know these people have to hate each other on some level.
Oh, yeah, man, yeah. I mean, in every aspect of, like, paranormal, I mean, it's like when you have dueling experts, or, like, I mean, your peers in this field will fucking hate you. That is a given.
Oh. Yeah, and that goes because you're all kind of, you know, fighting for the same, I guess. I don't know. It's legitimately have people out there look for fame out of this, and that's the other sad part. It's like, and again, you know, where there are people out there that look for fame, and it's like you're doing it wrong because it's a niche market that is aging big time, you know, and it's like, you know, I'm 35 doing this show, and, you know, Jeff, it's like me and Jeff, and you know, we're pretty much the youngest ones out here, and
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I'm 34, and I'm one of the children in the field. It's absolutely kind of ridiculous. Oh man, that saying, "Don't ever meet your heroes." Man, that is twice as true, especially in this field. Oh, let me tell you, I've been disappointed a whole hell of a lot.
Yikes. See, that's what I'm afraid of with, like, a Jim Mars interview, which I'm trying to work on, and I know he's doing a lot of stuff now. And Jeff just had him, Saturday night, and I haven't heard it yet. I'm like, he's the only one I'd be nervous about it, and I don't know why, really, because, I just like a lot of what he says makes sense to me, It just is.
Well, man, what I had to do is I had a show called The Unabridged Universe on here. Actually, Jeffrey took over my slot when I quit doing my time slot. And, man, I did that for a couple of years. And after a while, I just had to, develop, a work attitude while I'm on the show versus what I actually think. Sometimes it's really hard to do.
Definitely. And yeah, I don't have that kind of filter. It's a lot of work. Like you said, it's hard to do. You have to play the game. To have some of these people on, and a lot of them are worried about coming on sometimes. Especially when I explain, that Nicole's a skeptic and stuff like that. Sometimes we've had to quantify. Well, what kind of skeptic are we talking about? So.
Honestly, I think everybody in this field, man, if they can't handle any actual skepticism or anybody that, asks them a couple of questions or questions the validity of something they have to say, then I'm sorry, they don't need to be in this field. I mean, really, they should find another line of work if that bothers them.
So, yeah, you're always going to have, if through adversity, you have no business doing it.
I mean, I know from my point of view, there are people that consider me abjectly, insanely crazy. I mean, I've had old high school and friends unfriend me on Facebook because you post too much alien shit, bro. And
I really don't do that with my personal page, and that's why, I tried a lot of, there'd be fans trying to friend my personal page. I'm like, no, I don't do that. I try to keep it just for, family, and, I post kid pictures up there and stuff like that. And sometimes I rant about work and shit,
I really don't see why everybody, complains about the privacy problems on Facebook. I mean, it's free. It doesn't cost you a damn thing to use it unless you want to throw money into it like an idiot, and I don't really know anybody that does. I mean, everybody complains about the privacy issues, but, the way I use Facebook is I just post interesting links, a couple of photos of my dog or some crap like that, say something snarky and smart-assed every now and then. I mean, I don't put my personal details up there. I don't say, this is my child's daycare, and here's our route from this daycare that we take every day, come check us out while we're checking in. I mean, anybody who complains about too much of their private information being accessible on Facebook, well, they're the ones that put it there.
It's like, get a rash sometimes. Post stuff, and you don't have my permission to use any of this, and I'm like, what are you, what just happened here? Who convinced you to do that? A long time ago, I said something stupid to Nicole. I'm like, oh, they're changing something, and she's like, she's like, that's just that they're posting on there, because people do this stuff all the time in marketing, and I'm like, oh, and since then I haven't done any of those disclosure stuff for the sharing of pictures and likenesses and all. They try to make some copy law on there and say, oh, I posted on my wall, so it's official now.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty much of the opinion that, anything that goes on the internet is fair game forever. Once it's out there, it's out there. Tough. If you don't want it out there, don't post it out there.
Yeah. Yeah, no one's going to steal your picture and try to catfish somebody. Who knows?
And don't ever fall for, and this has never ever happened, and promise not to show these pics to anybody. Yeah, right. Don't believe that, anybody. Don't ever believe that.
Keep them to yourself. Hey, checking up with the Melba Ketchum DNA Bigfoot stuff, or no?
Man, I've heard about it, but I haven't. I know. I read an interesting on Ars Technica of all places, which is actually a pretty good technology site. They went into these people supposedly had some Bigfoot DNA. They sent it off to some supposedly credible labs, and it came back as not exactly human, but. Everybody's still analyzing the results and hasn't concluded what's actually gone down, so I'll just have to wait to see.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that a lot of people...
I'd like to see it happen, I just think it would be cool if it, something anomalous is proven to be out there, but, this is the paranormal field, man. I'm not holding my damn breath.
Exactly. And that's something that I think Melba set herself up for is something she probably didn't expect, and that's how much vitriol's out there when you start tearing down sacred cows' ideals of what Bigfoot is or isn't, and it's all a matter of being hated on because they did research, especially some of the quote-unquote researchers that haven't even been out in the field and God knows how long to actually do any stinking research.
Oh, man, and thanks to TV, everybody thinks that research is like this awesome road trip where you, get night vision goggles and shit and get to go search for evidence out in the wood at, 2 in the morning where no human beings have walked in more than 100 years, and it's nothing like that. It is absolutely nothing like that.
What research is, and then tainting the entire idea of it,
if anybody actually wants to know what it's like being an abduction researcher, it's not like I'm driving out and doing stakeouts at Area 51 with FLIR cameras every single night or any kind of crap like that. Being an abduction investigator, dealing with aliens, you're dealing with the people that have seen them. If you want to know how boring it is, you sit there and you spend an abnormal amount of your time simply talking to people. That's about as exciting as it gets.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the legs on the ground, you're going to have to talk to people stuff. And that's what I was like, and that's what I think, background investigators and police and stuff like that make the best interviewers, really, unless you've, done a whole lot of interviews to begin with in one way, shape, or form somewhere else. A resource director would probably, in my opinion, make a good UFO investigator, because it's a matter of being able to talk to someone and get information out of them, basically. Get them up and start talking. And that's, half the battle, I'm sure.
That's true, and a lot of people that have had experiences simply won't just talk to anybody. That's something that a lot of people hold close to the chest, and, well, you just basically have to have the knack for it, or you're just simply wasting your time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And
see, that I think that's a pitfall that a lot of researchers fall into is, they'll listen indiscriminately to almost anybody, and they're sort of led down the wrong track.
Yeah.
Who am I to judge, though? This is about as nice as I can be to say it. Some of the experiences that you'll read about and some of the books that have been written out there and the people that are sitting there trying to whore their time on all the paranormal radio shows, this is about as nice as I can be to some of their, fluffy, foo-foo, E.T. Space Brothers type abductions. As nice as I can be, and this is as nice as I can do it, is I can say, your experiences are not consistent with mine and other contactees that I've had contact with. That's as nice as I can be.
Exactly. That's why any of my input on the whole thing or my story is literally 10-15 minutes and that's it. And that's it, and there's nothing, there's no, I've never seen a face, I don't know, never been to a ship, I don't remember any of that bullshit, None of the stuff that other people are talking about, I'm like, wow, that would have come out even longer.
Well, it's like that. A lot of people just have, such a fragmented recall of these experiences that, there are huge gaps. And, I kind of appreciate it, honestly, when you're doing, basically an intake interview, one of the ways that you catch some people that are just kind of BSing you is if there's somebody who's got an answer for every single question that I ask them, they're bullshitting, because half of these questions, well, not half, but a number of these questions that I'm asking are completely and totally made up. They're complete and total ringers designed to catch you going off into your own imagination.
Yeah. You got to have tricks right there, so to speak. Because if you don't, then you will get taken down the road quickly.
Yeah, and I've seen it happen all too many times. I mean, I know a lot of people that, you know, are actually good individuals, good researchers. They're involved into the field for pretty much the right reasons, but, you know, they just get drawn off course by what I think is, and here I'll be nice, non-optimal information.
I like that. I really do. That's a good one. An awesome one. It's a great way to explain it. But do you still go out and do a lot of research, or what? You get calls to do interviews, or is it basically your neck to lift, or are you like administrative end now?
Well, I still do as much of it as I can. The whole gist of it all is just basically, you know, getting in touch with people and, you know, getting a baseline of their experiences and, you know, contrasting and comparing that to everybody else's. So, you know, we've got a good caseload that, you know, presents somewhat of a consistent picture. You know, those broad brushstrokes is basically where we're at right now. I mean, especially with a lot of people. I mean, like, a lot of the details simply aren't going to match up, but if you take the general gist of their experiences, and they fit some pretty broad patterns. I mean, during childhood, I mean, there's a typical, like, people tend to go through, I mean, a lot of vastly different things. Like, you know, some people will see things in their childhood, or some people will hear things, or others have vastly different experiences. But, I mean, there are repeatable patterns that seem to show up in all of this, and I don't know, it's just kind of interesting to sort of dig around and see what matches up, what doesn't.
Yeah, that's funny that you mentioned that, because I got nothing in childhood, and that's what makes it even worse. And I would totally buy the sleep paralysis story or explanation if it wasn't for a bright ass light right outside my window. You know, and if it wasn't for that damn light in the window and, like, you know, feeling completely terrified, I would totally consider it sleep paralysis. You know. So, and that's it. That's like all I got, you know.
And that's typical of a lot of cases. I mean, I barely have much more than that. I mean, I can honestly say that I've never seen an extraterrestrial, you know, in a conscious, awake state with my own eyes. I mean, no, I've had nothing like that. But I mean, I've had enough other incidences that I genuinely do wonder. And if you ask me, well, Jason, do you think that you were gotten then? I'd have to honestly say, I don't really think I can say no there. I mean, that's basically where I am with a lot of this. And, you know, you find a lot of people that are more or less in exactly the same boat.
Yeah, I remember when I had Sasha on, I was telling her, I was like, hey, you know, at least tell me I'm making it up, at least, you know, so I can get over it and, you know, move on type thing. She's like, nah, it's pretty much. Yeah. She's like, yeah. She's like, yeah, you're done. I was like, oh, great. And it was messed up because, you know, I had a huge gap and nothing happened. And then all of a sudden, boom, you know, after we had our son, he was probably like, it was maybe a year ago, I'd say. You know, I had this weirdo, like, being put back in bed type thing, like being like levitated down. I could feel like one arm lowering, the other one, you know, left, right, lowering at the same time, one before the other, and then legs, and I'm in bed, and it was like super dark. I couldn't see like past the edge of the bed, but I felt like something was in the fucking hallway, you know, and there I am dropping F-bombs, but, you know, it felt like something's watching me in the hallway as that was going on. And then, you know, it's your wife still terrified, and then 2 seconds later, I'll sleep. That makes sense, you know. Sleep. It's like,
yeah, it's almost like after a while you kind of get used to it and, you know, can sort of readjust real quick.
Yeah. And I'm like, you know, if I don't get it. I'm like, oh, I've got a gun under the bed. I got shit in the stuff in the closet. I can go, and why would I just do that? So
yeah. Well, I mean, just having bits and snippets of experiences like that. I mean, that's what a lot of people have a hard time dealing with, and I mean, I'm sure we can all understand completely and totally. Okay, if I'm being exposed to the tip of this iceberg, what the hell else is going on in the rest of this iceberg? Yeah. That's where, a lot of the apprehension and the fear comes in. But, not everybody takes it, in the most negative way like that. I mean, most people, become curious about and actively want to understand what the hell is going on. More out of a sense of curiosity and just wanting to know than, any type of fear.
It's something that just recently happened, too, I want to talk about, is that now that, my son is able to, talk and stuff, right? Well, he plays, he'll play, Minecraft, and call the zombies creepers on there, right? And evidently, as she called me from work, is that she was, getting him out of the room, and he's pointing up, in between the doorway, right? The doorway of the room to the hallway. And it's he's pointing at the ceiling there, and he, freaks out, where, will laugh, and do, the leech mode on you. And he's saying, creeper, creeper, and I'm and so, home later on the day, and I was like, Trey, where's the creeper? And he, goes to the spot and, points up, and I was like, whoa, okay. So I'm like, all right.
Damn, man. I mean, I have seen way too many bad horror movies exactly like that.
Yeah. And I was like, whoa, what is he what is he talking about? It's just, is he talking about an alien? Is he talking about a ghost? Which is it? Because he obviously knows that those are monsters, in the game. And that's what he, equates it to, And,
you can't really do anything but, just, be inquisitive and ask them what's going on. I mean, I've seen some researchers and, hey, to each their own, they say they're advancing the field, but, I mean, I've seen some researchers, actually try to approach children of that age, ask them questions and basically, tell them what's going on with aliens. And I'm like, holy shit, that is the worst possible thing you could be doing. Yet there are people that will do that and, well, I'm advancing science. Well,
you're
science.
Programming, you're tainting, and that's why I was like, well, it's creepy because that's what he understands as a monster, and just leave it at that. And yeah, she was like, yep, it really freaked her out and everything. I was like, and it was too. So I was something at night, and he knew that if he was going to be walking by a spot or something. It was just weird. And yeah, I was going to ask you, has ICAR ever done interviews with kids? How young have you guys gone?
Well, usually in a situation like that, there are a lot of contactees out there that have, been perfectly fine handling the alien equation, on their own or within whatever their personal support structure is. But they don't start reaching out to groups like us at ICAR until they're starting to suspect that, their kid might be being visited by extraterrestrials too. Yeah. And, personally, I mean, that's up to the director, but I'd have to say our general policy is, we certainly, I mean, absolutely under no circumstances would we ever try to talk to a kid without somebody's permission. And, even if we, in talking to the kid, we'd just be simply listening. I mean, there are a lot of investigators who, simply won't handle children, for, all kinds of potential liability reasons also. But I'd have to say if you do anything like that, all you can do is just ask the kid what is going on, leave it as open and generic as that, listen for a little while, and, don't tell the kid anything.
You know what, now that I think about it, when I was asking him, I think I was pointing to the same spot, possibly, and saying what was there, and then that's when he just goes, creeper. And I was like, oh.
Well, I mean, that's pretty innocuous. I can't fault you for saying that. I mean, it only gets, really bad when it's and did he have, an oval-shaped head and really big eyes,
I just not going to he'll just look at me weird, and then weird and confused, because he's not able to understand that stuff. Now getting to the pointing at stuff saying, what's this, what's this, what's this, and he'll repeat things that you tell him to repeat and stuff like that. So, he's not even potty trained, for God's sakes. We're working on that right now.
And, it could end up being nothing, too. Kids do have some pretty, interesting imaginations, and it could be simply nothing more than that.
Yeah. And like I said, that the one time, when I was being put back into bed, I didn't hear him at all, or anything. But it is weird. It was weird, like, when he'd wake up screaming in the middle of the night and stuff, and I used to stay up real late all the time, and after me being put back into bed, it was like a lot, at least 6 months or so. I'd stay up till like 3 or 4, and I'd have to be up at 7 to go to work, and just stupidness. And I'm like, well, maybe I could stay up through everything. And I'm like, what am I doing? And
I went through a point in my life where I was basically going through exactly the same thing. It's just I can't put my guard down. You're not sitting there like a paranoid, messed out tweaker. You just can't let your guard down for a little while, especially after something fresh happens.
Like I said, it's, what are you doing? They know you're probably pulling, if know anything about and know anything, they know you're pulling this, so they're just waiting till you go to sleep, stupid,
I'm pretty sure that, they could, nab you out of a populated area in broad daylight and nobody would know any better if they wanted to. Who knows? Their technology might be like that, but it's just one of that's just one of the things that we're trying to figure out here, seeing how ET interacts with these different people, because, that's basically the only, I'd call it evidence. I guess you could say the only testimony, since none of it's, forensically provable in any kind of way to this point. That's basically the only testimony on, what these entities are up to. So, somebody's got to look into it and take it seriously.
It's interesting that nobody wants to deal with kids in that kind of field, but it's like we had a LS here in the room talking about he was about 4 years old when he could start describing everything, and so a year and a half off till you can actually get descriptions and stuff. So maybe 6 months. We'll see how it works out. Who knows if she sorry.
When talking to just about anybody that we talk to, one of the things we always get around to is, what was your childhood like? Did you have any of these, paranormal or alien related type experiences during your childhood? And I'd have to say in the vast majority of cases, you hear about some, interesting things, and they all tend to start around, 4 or 5 years old or so. It's almost as if there's a definite juvenile phase to this. Sort of a slacking off in adolescence, and then once you reach adulthood, then I guess they figure you're, well established enough that you can become aware of some of it and not have it. Well, it's kind of like you have to look at it this way. There's sort of a method to their madness with the approach that they take through childhood and adolescence. It's almost as if, they're giving you a chance to sort of grow up and be able to function in society. They certainly don't want us broken, whatever they do. It's not, in a lot of ways, you could say they go out of their ways to help us out and, just to be normal.
True. That explains the ability to remember everything, It's doing you a favor, because, like, sleep paralysis, the fear, the terror feeling was so insane. It was like, I know that I could not have been dealt with, unless you did something to me to, save me, like completely fucking out of control. Like it's like show up, and it's like as if they would show up to do work, and then here's this shaven monkey going berserk, and they're like, well. Should have done this first, it's like, and it's like when Joe was saying about, the family bloodlines and all that kind of stuff. Well, then, they know when they come to the circus comes to town to see me, they're like, all right, here we go. I've seen this a million times from this dude, from these people,
Yeah, they bring the heavy squadron out for you,
Zap him, make him not move. He'll go stupid and we've done it before, and then we'll just put him back and get the hell out of here. But like this time around, it was like less terrifying, I guess, when I was being put back in bed. It's the only way I can describe it. It was like, oh, I'm just being put back in bed and, can't see nothing, but it feels like I'm being watched while this is happening, and so going back to sleep, screw it.
Well, everybody does seem to kind of eventually come to a usually begrudging acceptance of it, and usually once that happens, the high anxiety, high fear, experiences tend to slack off, and, they start to become, I'd almost say more normalized, or even a type of communication, actually.
And where was Nicole thing? I can't remember, like, even or thinking about where she was, because I was just thinking about our son, at that point. And it was, now that I, think about it, like, it's not like I looked over to see if she was there or anything like that, It's like, I'm not worried about you. It's like, oh, just another lump on the other side of the bed, and we're fine. I don't know. Weird that I didn't consider that.
Well, man, one of the interesting stories that comes from my family, from my mom, actually. And, man, I was told this when, I was at a point in my life that I didn't want this whole alien abduction thing to be real, and I hoped it was all a complete and total crock. Well, then my mom has to tell me this one, that when I was about 2 months old, her, my dad, and a couple of other family members were, they were in a little cabin with no electricity, in a little camp cabin out in the Sam Houston National Forest. And Mom says she just, like, wakes up one day, and it's like the entire cabin is, like, bathed in this, like, super white light illuminated from she didn't know where, but everything was just super blindingly bright white. And then she said it's like the light kind of just sort of, like, materialized upward and left in a strange way. And it's like, oh, that, Mom, when I'm hoping that this shit's not real.
Yeah. Well, it sounds exactly like the light that was outside of my window. It was like, literally, I lived in a ranch, so we're talking maybe 20-foot roof line, to the top, in between two houses, maybe 20-foot space between us. And it just, once it gets to, like, roof line, boom, completely gone. It slowly goes up and then poof, Whoa.
Yeah.
I saw that light, I was like, oh, that was so bright, somebody must have seen it, and then I was like, yep, time to go back to bed.
And the light's just, like, absolutely damn strange enough that good and well it ain't some redneck with a Q-beam playing around,
Yeah. It didn't really light up my room or anything like that. It was like contained. I don't know how else to put it. It was bald, but it was bright as hell, and I like to. It's like the background of the Facebook white. It's a brighter. Yeah. The way I describe it, since I'm staring at it, just extremely brighter, and it wasn't like illuminating everything around it. You know what I mean? Like I was saying, it was contained. It wasn't like lighting up the neighborhood type light up.
Oh, just the very nature of it. I mean, definitely say I have never seen anything quite like that before since in my life.
That's for sure. Sometimes, you think maybe the old like ball street lamps, but we're talking one that was probably 6-8 feet around.
And see, you're being completely and totally honest about it. You're not saying that it was like, a transporter matrix from Pleiadian light ship or any kind of crap like that. I mean, you're just putting it out there as what it is. Look, I saw this. It didn't exactly fit right. I don't know exactly what it is. And man, doesn't it, I always come back to this, doesn't it just piss you off when you have some new agey dickbag on a forum somewhere trying to tell you exactly what you saw was.
Yeah. Yeah, and talking about, I hate to do it because I've got so many guests that come on that I like, that talk about, oh, they're just here to help us through the transition of consciousness. Oh, Christ. Maybe that's how you see it, but being abducted, you didn't have a flippin' choice,
Oh, man. I lost a few friends on Facebook that are, of that, believe in anything that supports the transcendence kind of thing. And I wasn't going to say anything the first person I saw post this. Then I saw somebody else repost it. Then I saw a third person repost it, and that was just too damn much. But, man, get this. It was some dude named Jesus Through John. No. And this is supposed to be some guy that looks like your average retired white engineer or some crap like that. That he channels Jesus, bro. Jesus speaks through this man, and his message was that same New Agey channeled message that keep up the good fight, my light workers. We'll bring down the dark international cabal soon enough. And I basically said, look, I try to be open-minded about stuff like this and respect everybody's beliefs, but honestly, it's an insult to both my intelligence and Jesus. Claiming that some dude speaks through him and you believe it. I mean, my God, man, you can only take so much of that.
Yeah, I kind of had one of those.
And I wouldn't describe myself as a Christian in the least, but I felt like I had to stand up for Jesus for that one because that was ridiculous.
Worked for this one, right? I had kind of one of those moments on the hybrid. Let's see, on Bridget Nielsen's site, and the hybrid children.
I'm sorry I laughed when you mentioned her name. I couldn't help it.
Yeah, everybody does. It's the Hybrid Children Community Facebook page, right? And this Adrian Bonadari is on here saying, support Dr. Greer, the serious movie. There's free technologies and free energy and anti-gravity in existence that could bring great positive change for the entire woman race that is only known secret. It's like, do your research by a few, thank you. And I'm like, no. I was like, please do not, I was like, please do not ever speak of Greer as some sort of anything. He is pure.
And, Greer is one of those cases where it's like, at first the guy had a lot of promises. I have to give him credit. That first Disclosure Project deal, that was pretty awesome. It made some claims like there are 57 different alien species that we're neither going to categorize nor quantify in any type of manner and just leave it at that. But, there were a lot of interesting witnesses that came out and testified during that. And it did get some decent press coverage, but oh my God, did Greer go in quick. I mean, not too long after that, he's basically like, you pay me enough money, I'll show up and UFOs will appear, bitch, I swear it. And people were paying him for it.
And it's like, ask yourself, why did he ask for more money after he already got the money he wanted through Kickstarter to make the movie? It's like post-production money now. Once he realized that people were gullible enough to give him $250,000 to make him.
Man, sometimes it makes me genuinely think, I should just pick a biblical character, start channeling, open up a PayPal account, and start raking in the money. Because apparently there are far too many people out there with more money than they know what the hell to do with. And I will be more than happy enough, and I'm just unscrupulous enough to take their cash, too.
With a smile. A fool and their money deserve to be pardoned,
Damn, Skippy, I will roll down the window of my brand new Beamer, wave at him, and creep on by.
Jesus loves you, and we're gone. It's you. Buy my air freshener. And then he's like, his retort is, I simply value the work he's being in it and what it's doing in regards to both, da-da-da-da-da. That's it's just undeniable fact to recognize the value. And I, LOL. So that's hilarious.
Well, people hearing my point of it, they're like, but instant karma. I mean, how can it be like this? I mean, how can so many people just fall for, junk like that. Well, this is how simple it is. All you have to do is write some bullshit book about aliens, angels, fairies, Bigfoot, pick your paranormal poison, publish it through somebody, and George Norrie gives you a 4-hour infomercial to plug the damn thing. That's how this happens.
You have a good publicist to get you on Coast, and Coast, what's 4 times 7? 20, right? No, that can't be right. Yeah, 28 hours. They have 28 hours of air to fill a week. Get on. Okay, if you have a publicist that can get on there, that can even call or any of the other producers up there or whoever the hell they are, you might just be able to call the hotline, just be like, hey, how do I get on?
Man, I better just shut up. All I'm doing is making sure that when I publish my book, Coast to Coast is going to be like, oh, we've heard of you.
We'll be on eventually. Don't worry. Lisa Lyon. There you go. Yeah, you just... Yeah,
I rag on Coast to Coast a lot, but, man, I started listening, when Coast to Coast was the house that Art Bell built, and you basically saw him get run out of his own house, and, man, it just hasn't really been the same again. And Art's bitter about this. I mean, it's a trip following him on Facebook.
Yeah. I'm hear something about that when it all happened, because you get painting and all that stuff with George, and him mentioning, Art Bell and all that stuff in the credits at the end of the week and all that. And it's like, I wonder how much that kills him to have to say that kind of stuff, because if the contract's up and, the non-competition contract is up, then why are they still thanking him like that? Is it just to be play the nice guy? And then you see Art post things like, and I'm pretty much paraphrasing another one that he said. He's like, it just kind of chaps my hide that they still play my old reruns. He's like, but that's the contract. There's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, somewhere in time stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's complaining about.
I'm a Coast insider, of course. I'm a sucker because they do have people on every once in a while I want to hear. But I want to know what kills that I don't get the Somewhere in Time episodes. There's no Art Bell archives up available for insiders, and that's good.
Well, no, you just ensure that I'm never ever going to pay for that.
And it's not. It is cheap and all that, but he whores himself out every month. He's like, we need 5,000 more insiders. I'm like, you son of a bitch! Putting it out here, you're loaded. You're a millionaire and you haven't done anything really in the community but be a softball thrower all day at people and just.
Oh man, and then what's Norrie done but sit there and let people babble for 4 hours every night, and then you start seeing him showing up on Ancient Aliens and shit, and people are calling in like, George Norrie, I've got an exorcism problem. I want you to help me. What should I do? Why are you asking George Norrie shit?
Yeah, and it's
that'd be like asking Jonathan Frakes. It'd be like, Commander Riker, you were on a paranormal show. Can you help me with this demon?
No, yeah. Can you help me fly my spaceship?
I know, but I can give you Michael Dorn's number.
Classic. It's just when you hear some of the stuff that he has on there, and it's like, what is going on here? I don't know why. They talk about the top thing. Well, I know why, because Joe explained it. I'm sorry. I just am stupid and hard, and I actually wanted an opinionated host. You know what I mean? Tell me what you think, for God's sakes, instead of your plain oatmeal, white bread nonsense that you have out here, where you don't confront anybody on their BS, because you're beholden to the cults of personality as well. Without these morons out here that have cultivated fans for years and years and years and years, i.e. their product, you won't get listeners as well. You can't keep your 6 million if you don't have these cults of personality individuals on here, these quote-unquote rock stars,
Well, man, at one point in time, I would have called myself a diehard coast-to-coast listener because, Art and even George, both Georges a couple of times, they've kept me company when I was driving through the middle of absolutely no damn where with another 900 miles to go. But man, I just can't do it anymore. I mean, the quality of the show has gotten so bad that they basically lost me as a fan.
Yeah. You're right. I'll still listen to them every time. I like to drive overnight. That's for sure. If I go back to Chicago from Raleigh, or Indianapolis from Raleigh, or to Raleigh.
Oh man, a couple of those times I was like basically driving like right up the middle of Illinois to right around Chicago, and oh man, that is a flat, boring damn drive.
Yes, very. Odd. I'm like, I had no idea how depressing and boring where I grew up was. Until I got out, I was like, holy shit.
Oh man, and you can't even speed because it's like you can see like for miles and miles and miles, and at any given one point you can see at least 2 police vehicles. It's like, Jesus Christ, I can't even put. And then they lower the speed limit, man.
Yeah, at least like in Iowa, it's 75, 80. Just get the hell out of here speed, No.
Yeah, I'm cruising through Texas. I'm going 75. I get through like the flat, boring Great Plains, and they've got me going 55 and 60 on an interstate.
Slow down to nothing. But I like to do.
Every now and then it'll be like, oh my God, a tree. You almost stop and like want to get out and hug the damn thing.
Like in Northwest Indiana, I'm probably, like 45, 50 miles from shops. Tops, it was only like half hour, 45 minutes to get there. And it's still go run at night. Like I'll run at night here, sometimes after a show and stuff. And I'll be like, oh, I can see some stars. And then I go to like my hometown and I'm like, there's a crap of stuff. I didn't realize, that I so little like light pollution that I could see all this stuff. Like you could actually, you could still see the bands and stuff, the Milky Way, and where it gets thicker and all that. I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
Oh yeah, man, that's how it is out here where I live, because I'm like kind of stuck it's still in the middle between Dallas and Houston. Neither one's expanded this way yet, but give them a couple of decades and they might. But man, it's absolutely ridiculous. There are a lot of people out there who've never been out of an urban area, and they really think there are 4 stars.
That's horrible. Yeah, that's the first thing I do when I get out there. I start looking up, and I'm like, yes,
if you got 2 street lights around you, that's enough to ruin, an average meteor shower.
Huh? Yeah, I haven't seen anything good like that in a while. And even in here in Raleigh, I think I can see a pretty good amount of stars. At least up north Raleigh here, not like downtown. There's not much downtown to Raleigh, It's not that.
See, man, I'd spent a long time. I was a Navy brat, and my dad was stationed in Long Beach. Back when we actually had a base there before we gave it to China, practically. But there I am living in the LA metro area, which it's miles and miles and miles of endless concrete and street lights and everything. Then I move out here to the middle of damn nowhere, Texas. I looked up and was like, my God, it was almost intimidating.
Nice.
At that point, I actually felt like I was a very tiny being on a little bitty rock in a very damn vast universe.
That would explain it. You start realizing how insignificant you are, when you see that kind of stuff.
Growing up in, being a little kid growing up in L.A., I thought there were 6 stars.
Just the big ones.
Yeah.
The ones where the Pleiarans come from.
That's another thing that always gets me about everybody talking about the home system of most of these aliens is obviously the Pleiades. And, if you take a look at it, and actually look at it, the Pleiades is a very young, hot-burning star system. The life experience, isn't more than a handful of billions of years. There's simply not going to be, it's so harsh in that environment. It's unlikely that life would be able to survive there. It simply doesn't have the time to grow like life here on Earth has.
Mars has been quiet lately.
Yeah, you haven't heard any. Well, you say quiet, but every time NASA publishes a photo, Hoagland will find some kind of rock in it that's an alien head or some shit.
What the cat people built.
Yeah.
They're cats. Well, we got about 10 minutes to go here.
I don't know. I do have to wonder, like, one thing though. It's like, you know, of all the places we could have put those Mars rovers down, why did we put them like absolutely out in the middle of nowhere? I mean, wouldn't you have landed one like 20 feet from the face in Cydonia? I mean, that would be like being interested in figuring out in what Earth was like. And you don't land your probe in Times Square. No, you land it in the middle of the damn Gobi Desert somewhere.
Exactly. And that's what makes it all fishy, you know. Makes it all very fishy, that's for sure. But I saw where they were looking for like husband-wife astronaut combinations to go on these long trips, and I'm like, are you crapping me? You're going to have the first in space, okay?
Yeah, that could go bad.
Quick, you know? I mean, God, the first.
Oh man, the first space spousal murder. Oh man, couldn't you see Nancy Grace just creaming herself over that one?
Yeah, so can't have any blood floating around. You'd have to have a bag big enough to put someone in and then toss them out the back.
She'd have to have Bill Nye come on and explain everything.
Oh, God.
Oh, man, speaking of Bill Nye, you know, like when the asteroid was approaching us, like this was a day or two before, you know, before that, some people say it was a UFO and some people say it was a top-secret American missile. But, you know, the meteor over Russia, I mean, a couple of days before that, I mean, this actually made me wonder why this woman has a job. And she went to school for somewhere for 4 years to get a degree. But she segues a global warming segment into a piece with Bill Nye about this asteroid. And this is how she opens it. She's like, so is it possible that these meteors could be influenced by global warming? And there was like a split second of silence there where Bill kind of was like almost incredulous, like, did she just ask that? And then he just goes, no. I mean, come on, man. This was a woman asking if meteorites are influenced by global warming.
This is such a bad question. It's not even funny. You know?
Man, Bill Nye showed incredible restraint, dude. I would have had no choice but to have ripped on her over that, but he didn't. He took the honorable way out and just said no.
I want to keep this simple. Have you seen? I don't know why it was new, and it really pisses off skeptics. Anything about the James Randi prostitution solicitation? Have you heard those?
Yes, oh, good old James Randi. It's like, why do you skeptics put your faith in a clown?
You know, and that's something. In Bobby Nelson from Strange Frequencies, I was like, you know, he's got this news blogger, Sharon Hill. I don't know her specifically. Put a few clicks and a button to find out. But she posted something about Randy, and I was like, is this? I was like, are you? I was like, I know I'm going to piss you guys off because this is this old man is your hero, and I don't. It's something to do with another consulting adult. It has no bearing on me and my life, so let's just get that clear. But I know, it's like, all right, let's put this in perspective, people. Your hero has the same integrity as ShamWow Vince, you know. That's kind of sad. Basically, you know, and he's like there, and it's an audio tape that, you know, Bobby was saying it was an old reel-to-reel tape that he did, like, he made this tape, like, in the 60s, evidently. I'm like, what? And James mentioned, you know, I did this tape to catch these people, and they've been prosecuted, and, you know, all this. I'm like, well, what are the names of these people, then? If they've been prosecuted for attempting to solicit you or defame you in any way, then it's public record, you know, and you can get out there and see the actual charge in the county and all that hoopla, you know. Okay, law enforcement, I know these things, Jimmy. Yeah. He should be able to prove it. Oh, and it's like, now, you've heard the tape, right?
Yeah.
It makes me feel bad. It makes me feel like I need it. Okay. Because asking how big he is and what's he look like and where does he go to pick up other men, and I'm like, that was awfully... He went awfully far.
That's kind of the same caliber of, what's his name, the Republican guy that was trolling for some dick in the airport bathroom because of his wide stance.
Yeah. It was like, wow, man, you...
Can I say trolling for dick on radio?
Beep is all they have to say. Beep. Trolling for beep.
That's right.
But yeah, I was like, man, I don't know, because it made me feel awfully yucky, and I used to deal with sex offenders, and he knows what he's talking about, and he knows what to say and what to ask for when soliciting someone over the phone. And if he was recording it to use against someone later, then give me the names of the individuals that were entrapping and show me where they were convicted, and I will go away. Okay.
That's hardcore, dude. Back in the 60s using reel-to-reel, I mean, it's easy to do now. Anybody can do that shit now on the internet, but back then you had to be dedicated, man.
Bobby, I was like, that had to be reel-to-reel, man, I remember seeing that stuff in high school, and thinking it was ancient, in the 90s, early 90s.
Nobody used the magnetic tape in the last 15 years anyway.
How do you even transcribe that to the internet? I'm sure machines exist that make it possible. You can go to a studio somewhere and dust something off and make it. Was just made me feel yucky, and I didn't go into it any deeper because, like I said, I'm buddies with the guy, and I know he's your hero in all people, but this is just a little to make me feel dirty, and you've done a lot because I'm pretty much a fan of creepy.
I guess it's true for skeptics too. Like I said, don't meet your heroes, man.
True, and yeah. And when it comes to skeptics, I'd rather have a Penn and Teller. I'd rather back the Penn and Teller pony in the skeptic world. It comes to it, and unfortunately, they love James Randi. So it's like, God damn it.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, that's right. So,
there are a lot of people in the field that are kind of like that. I mean, that's like not wanting to go see the new Mission Impossible movie that is going to be badass anyway, or should be, according to the trailer. But I can't go see that because Tom Cruise is a Scientologist and I don't like Scientologists. It's like, look, no matter who it is, there's always going to be something about them you don't like. So, just don't even trip over it.
Yeah, you're going to see the movie star Tom Cruise, not the human. Not him in the movies, and that's what people with TV and movie stars make that mistake. He's not Ferris Bueller. He's what he does all day. So get over it. But that's the price they pay for fame, I guess, right?
Yeah, well, hell, I'd tell you my little Scientology story, but that'd take at least 20 minutes to do.
Yeah,
let's put it this way, man. They had me. They were ready to hire me, but I had some irresolvable questions over some of the lines in their employment agreement.
Nice. There you go.
Man, they paid a lawyer a lot of money to write that thing.
Bet your ass. You got to protect that product, baby.
Damn skippy.
But thanks for calling in, man. Always a good time talking about,
Hey, no problem.
So, we'll see everybody next week, and let's see who we have next week. Open lines with Robert Lindsay. That one's going to be a rough one for me to keep under control because I'm fully expecting Robert Lindsay to hang up on me, but I probably should right now, and call the shot. But I'm definitely going to, hit him where he's not going to like it. In the groin. But anyway.
If you really want to hurt his feelings, have him show up in the room and read some of the text.
Yeah. He's something, man. His blog's something, that's for sure. So, Thanks, everybody, for coming out for the live show this week. Like Mind Cemetery Facebook page and follow us on Twitter, Mind Cemetery. Basically, Google Mind Cemetery and follow Google. It's Lord anyway, so we'll give in. So, see you next week. And maybe Nicole will be here, maybe not, but I'm pretty sure we'll still have a month-and-a-half-old baby to take care of. So don't hold your breath. Besides, she hardly wants to be associated with this whole rigmarole anyway, I guess. So, all right. Have a good night. And thanks for Jason calling and saving me. Have a good one, Joe. Take us away from the mothership.
Santa Muerte, or as he called her, Santissima Muerte, is the spirit of death. The beginning of this inquiry into where this mysterious saint came from just sort of revealed this unbelievable spiritual phenomena that is going on not only in Mexico, but in the United States.